shades on tough and I'm scoping. Look good enough to get her, I'm hoping. Boy, I know I'm high, cool out, cause I'm smoking. So girl, what you do for the outgrow? Boy, I wanna
Hello. It is your girl, Meta Mars, and I know it's definitely been a long ass time since we had a meta moment. But I just could not help but come out and continue this moment with you guys, simply because at the end of the day, it's been a while and a lot of things have been going on in this world that we reside in, simply because at the end of the day, it's been a crazy little planet we've been experiencing. And as I mentioned before in a couple of previous videos, a lot of things that I've just been taking as like a grain of salt and just watching, because that's what I do best. I just like to observe and get a full understanding of what exactly is happening in this world today, especially considering that since the last time I spoke to you guys, I will be very transparent, this shit has went exactly to the shitter. Like this whole planet is ghetto. And I mean this in a fundamentally argumentative way that there's no way we cannot acknowledge it for what it is, Specifically, let me just get right into it. I'm going to talk about today. What is today? I forget what today is. Okay. Today is Monday, September 20th, around 2 p.m. And about 3 or 4 hours ago, CNBC, one of these lovely, and I know it's sarcastic, but I mean lovely, news releases have just told us that they have effectively approved Pfizer for vaccinations for COVID-19 from children 5 years old to 11. Yes, I said that correctly. They have approved vaccination for children 5 years old to 11. And for what that means is, in my experience, I've been watching how this has progressed in the months previously before. Now it's going to be pretty interesting because one, and I definitely need to bring this up because it just makes it kind of mind boggles me, as in, what parent has allowed their fucking 5-year-old or any of their actual children to be subjected to this testing for this kind of vaccine? Like don't get me wrong, I'm just curious as the mentality of the parent that said, hey, we all know this is very experimental, but I'm kind of tired of looking at this little motherfucker in school, and in my home, I'd rather get him back to school. So you know what? Hey, you do it for science. I'll be that parent to sign my child up for that. And of course, it scared the shit out of me that someone would actually do that. So I said, you know what? Let me read this article, right? Let me read this article. And of course, reading this article, no parent has actually allowed their 11-year-old to 5-year-olds be subjects for the study. What they did actually was take, the people from 16 to 25, and they gave them third of the dosage and realized, yes, it did build up a good immune response. It did, produce antibodies, so it's a go. Because these 16-year-olds to 25 had good responses with it, you're now 11-year-old to 5-year-old can get the shot as soon as October. We're in September. And by the end of October, as young as your 5-month-old can get the shot. Now, don't get me wrong, because I will repeat this. I'm going to repeat this because y'all need to just understand that no, I am not an anti-vaxxer. I am also, and I repeat this as well, not an anti-masker. I am not. I'm dead outside in the public in fresh air amongst no one except for people who are walking by, right? I am not either one of these people. I am also, and I'm going to say this as well, not a pro mandate anything, especially if you don't want it. Like, I don't understand why I need to tell you or force you to do it. If you don't want it, then you don't want it. Like, it's up to you. But if you feel you need it, go get that shit. Go get that shit. You know, that's me. That's literally me. I have no qualms on either side. But it does kind of make me a little concerned. And for good reasons. Mainly because of one. I did a little research because I said, you know what? What has me a little bit bothered with the whole situation and how it's going down is because they say, and I quote, they said, we only needed for New York State 70% of people to get it, and we're good. We ain't got to worry about nothing if 70%, right? So I'm thinking, you know, like most people, because I'm on the fence about it, I'll wait out to the other 70% of people when I be chilling, right? Because I'm still don't like to be unnecessarily close to people. I don't like to engage people that be doing all type of seedy shit. So it'd be like, you know, I thought I was gonna be good. I'm assuming, and I did my research on that too, we only up to like 51% in the country. Like, so I'm like, wait, what? How do we only get to 51%? How many months has it been? It's about to be 2 years. I feel like, no, it's like 18 months. I'm like, I don't know how many months it's been. It's been like 2 years. It feels like 2 years, right? And we only got to 51% in the country, right? So I'm like, damn, this is odd word for me personally, because I just like wanted to enjoy my situation as best as it needs to be. You know, just wait till this all blows over. Of course it's not blowing over, right? Why is it not blowing over? Because you know what they telling us now. And this is before this, because you know I've been keeping up. Now we got to get the boosties, like, because it wears off. And this laugh is not a laugh because I knew this would go wrong. It's a laugh because it's like, God damn, we can't win. We can't win. That kind of laugh. It's literally that kind of laugh. And honestly, I really did think that this was going to be over with. Like, that's primarily why I'm just like, fuck. Because I really did think this was going to blow over. No, it's not. Because we got people in Walmart coughing in people's faces intentionally. We got people in Target harassing people who don't have on masks. So you're triggering their petty gene to be saying, you can't make me do it. Like, we have people going to restaurants and attacking people. Now that one, let's talk about that one, because that happened like day before yesterday, right? Different states, from my understanding, right, have different vaccine cards, right? And of course, if you come to another state with your vaccine card to another state, they may not be familiar with your piece of your identification, like most states, like even our IDs are even not the same, right? Don't get me right. And we know this, right? So of course, the poor uninformed hostess tried to deny entry to people who meet the requirements simply because she could not identify their vaccination card. Yes, you heard me correctly. She tried to deny people access because she could not identify their vaccination card. That is not even the kicker. The kicker is those people decided they was going to kick her ass. Like, it gets no better than that. Like, it gets no better than that. Like, we are harassing each other in stores. We are kicking each other asses in restaurant entrances. Like, we can't get along for shit. Like, it's really like, it's ghetto here. The whole planet right now is ghetto. I'm sorry to tell you that. Like, it's just ghetto, right? And of course, like I sadly to mention you guys, I was supposed to meet with the Valkyries down in Jamaica this year, but due to the whole OnlyFans debacle, my money was looking crazy. I'm just gonna be honest. So like I said, it's ghetto here. And there's just so many things that's occurring that I cannot fathom at this point, because it just keeps getting worse and worse. And honestly, for it not to be effective for long term, like I said, I went to some research and I try to figure out, how do we come here when it comes to this whole vaccine things, right? And from my research from previous like globalized epidemics and pandemics, the most shortest period of time of any vaccine that was ever produced was 2 years. And that's before they gave it to people. Like I said, excuse me, I ain't gonna say people. That's before they gave it to the general public. 2 years. So I kind of understand how a lot of people are still apprehensive about it. I kind of understand how there's a lot of, I wouldn't even say a lot, there are some cases of people having adverse reactions. And I understand why we can't come together and say, look, we're just all trying to get through this. We're trying to all, be better for each other and ourselves at the same time without compromising our own personal choices and stuff like that. But I'm just so saddened that this won't go away no time soon. That more of our liberties will be taken from us. More of us will not be able to go and engage with people because we don't know how this is going to affect our future generations. And it's just, we're just constantly in turmoil. Like, if it wasn't one thing, now it's another. And it just keeps getting ghetto out here. And with that being said, I don't want to keep holding up this whole situation and talking about something that we already know. It's a bunch of shit it just boggles my mind. Like, and then I had to honestly unfollow one of the people I felt like was considered an icon of their own time. Like, yo, I really had to unfollow Remy Watts. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I love her music. I loved her music. This is why it's fucking kicking me in the buttons, because it's like, I thought she was a real bitch. Like, and real bitches tend to come off very masculine. And people used to try to like make, talk down about that, talking about that's, why she's kind of very aggressive with other females, because she's like very manly. And I thought that was just such a big play on masculinity, but that a female can't have both, like be attractive and be very aggressive. And don't get me wrong, if they would say that it was aggressive, but in my personal opinion, I thought it was assertive, and they would just always try to play on it like that. And I just thought that was just bullshit. So, I always gravitated towards women who understood that their assertiveness did not have to always be interpreted as being aggressive. And then the versus battle happened. And don't get me wrong, we did our thing in New York City. Yes, we did. It showed a lot of our time where we had good quality music coming out. Everything, we were very copacetic when it came to us doing our thing. And then it went really, really, really left. And it went left because me, as a African American woman that grew up in New York City and still resides in New York City, I felt hella triggered. And it was only because the toxicity that is culminated within our city from our men, specifically us as against black women, by other ethnicities, by other, by the male sex towards black females, specifically women they don't consider themselves to be attracted towards. That toxicity was shown in that versus battle, and it was like, excuse me, there was no amount of apology that could like take away that obvious, disrespect. Like, it was so disrespectful, and I felt like, I was being traumatized all over again, because like they make it so okay to disrespect us as black women, because at the end of the day they really don't value us. Like, they really don't have enough fucking goals to be like, hey, this is just because she might not be the woman that I would consider attractive, that she deserves respect. Like, and it's so crazy that wasn't even the hurtful part. The hurtful part is when the person is now being held accountable for their actions and how they conducted themselves. Here comes somebody that I assume was going to be that bitch and be like, you know what, even though there's somebody I got money with, I'm still relatively close with, I am still, on good terms with, that I would tell them when they wrong, because he was dead wrong, sis. And of course, you had to be toxic. You had to continue that toxicity that has still been perpetuated in our community, and it made it even more of a blow that it's coming from another dark-skinned black woman. Brown-skinned black woman. Like, that shit is. I had to really sit back and evaluate. Like, did you really just stop being a boss bitch just because he gave you a bag? Did you stop being true to yourself for the figurative bag and the literal bag? Like, I was so fucked up in my head when I read those words that she wrote out to to Little Ma, that Remy had to really sat there and with her whole chest typed that out to her, like, with her whole chest, like, and I'm like, did you not tell her, write those out, and then be just as double-sided, like, just as quickly? And like I said, you did that with your whole chest, sis. Like, it was the whole, I'm like trying to herb you now, because I know he wrong, but I get money with him. Like, what? And I'm going to tell you a story about something I experienced myself as a black female in elementary school. And it's how, like, specifically in New York City, like, they really make it okay for men to be aggressive, violent towards black women, be exceptionally disrespectful. Like, it's a part of the culture in New York City specifically, because they really be trying to make us seem like we're fucking subhuman in this vicinity. Like, it's not even a game. Y'all don't even recognize it, because y'all don't got so... I'm not gonna say y'all, but most people do not recognize it who reside in this area, because it's so culminated within our culture that they don't even acknowledge that what they're doing is completely fucking wrong. Like, their whole ideal, the way they think and how they function around dark-skinned black women, around black women in general, or non-over-sexualized women, that they honestly believe that shit is okay. Like, I kid you not. Like, I'm gonna tell you the story about when I was in elementary school, and this dude, like, he would physically fucking harass me and try to assault me, like fight me almost like every other fucking day, because I told him I didn't want him to say bad things to me. So like, he literally took it upon himself, because I told him verbally and respectfully, look, I don't appreciate you saying that I have DSL lips and I'm only in fucking elementary school. Like, you sound crazy. Like, I'm African American, sir. Like, of course I got DSL lips. Like, that's not my fault. That's my genetics, bro. Like, and the fact that you try to make me feel some type of way every day because you're trying to over-sexualize me in elementary school, I don't appreciate it. So you know how this kid took it? He wanted to beat me up because, yes, he wanted to beat me up every fucking day for fucking 2 months, because I told him I didn't like the fact that he said I had dick sucking lips in elementary school. But you know what's crazy? One day I decided to fucking fight back. So we were literally fighting. I had to literally fight this kid because he was upset that I told him that I did not appreciate him telling me I had dick sucking lips, bro. He literally wanted to fight me and was attacking me. And one day I said, fuck that shit. I attacked him back. So we're like literally fighting. So let me tell you the sad shit, yo. Let me tell you the sad shit. As I'm defending myself, a girl who was his preference then tried to jump me because I'm defending myself from this guy. But every time he would attack me, she would do nothing. But the second that I defended myself, now I deserve to be jumped. This is the culture we live in New York City, that they don't respect black women, especially ones that they are not attracted to or not their preference. And and I kid you not, a lot of them who even look like me or even dark skin like me, they push the narrative of this. And I hate to say it because it sounds so, I never thought I would have to call another black woman that I look up to a mammy. Like, I hate to say it. Like, they push that mammy culture on us so badly. Like, it's not even funny. Like, it's sad. You have to be masculine. You have to be a mammy. You have to be subservient. You have to be disrespected because you are considered subhuman to these people, to these men. A lot of these men in New York City, especially if you're not of a certain hue or you're not aggressive and you're not masculine and you don't like to beat girls up or like attack, so it kind of like took me for a whirlwind that to see another woman that gets talked down about so much because of her masculinity actually behave in that way. I'm not even going to say the word again because just having to say the word the first time, the second time, that she really brought it out. Like, oh my God, like you really became a whole where I really thought she was for the ladies that weren't always, considered the most attractive females or the most submissive or feminine. Like, I didn't say she had to be overtly feminine, but then she really showed her man chest in that freaking chat. I mean, in that read, and I was like, oh my God. It took me in my whole heart to be like, damn. And I love your music too. To press that unfollow button, that shit kicked me in the face. Like, it kicked me in my own face because I actually like your music, but the way you gave your women that look like you their ass to kiss for a man who were in the wrong, I had to just be like, damn, bye sis, bye. Like, it's so ghetto out here. Like, and then what makes it even on a more of a revolutionary understanding is like the fact that we are in a world where it's okay to bully each other. It's okay to bully each other, but only if you do it in a context that's politically beneficial. Because one, the Met Gala that recently was held in the New York City as well, I honestly was surprised that they actually conducted it. Because if anybody knows anything about the Met Gala specifically, and then about me, because I used to work for the guy who puts the thing together. I used to do it. I used to be in the trenches making sure that every one of these elitist pieces of shit, these elitist individuals are able to go and have a good time and feel like they spent their money in a decent manner, second to charity. I used to be in there. I used to help cultivate the events. I used to be one of the crew members. I was honestly surprised that in the middle of a pandemic that it was really okay to go into a city that's literally dying. It's dying slowly. It's going to shit. That it was okay to put on your $20,000 outfit and attire and spend $35,000 for a fucking ticket in the middle of a pandemic. Like, to flaunt your privilege when the city is literally in shambles. It's so ghetto out here. It's really ghetto out here. Like, and I'm not even, and like I said, I used to work for the Met Gala events. Like, I used to be one of them people in there them people that y'all see in the background with them. Well, they are now wearing masks, but those people that put this together and make sure that it looks aesthetically appealing to them, I used to be one of the people working for them. So, like, don't get it twisted. There is no love lost and no hate. It's just like, damn, where is the empathy for the people who are socially and economically aware that the city is in shit right now? We need to not be flaunting our privilege and our money for one night to be like, well, who was dressed the best? And then, because there's more. For Keke Palmer to show that play, I ain't even going front. I hope and I swear to God, I personally, when I seen the picture, because I follow her as well, I knew it was a joke. Well, I kind of, to me, it came, excuse me, let me correct that. I felt like it was a joke. Like, she knows you ate off of it. And when of son did this, instead of us taking a picture first, what we ended up doing is like, we're just living in the moment. We're enjoying ourselves. We're having a good time, right? You don't have enough conscious time to be like, hey, let me take a picture of my food for the gram. And you already started eating that shit, so it looks crazy. And that's honestly what I assumed it was. But for the debacle to be what it became, and my personal opinion is like, hey, if you spend $35,000 and your plate look like that, it can't look like that. Like, it's impossible. But I don't really know. But that's what I assume. That she already started eating on it. She's like, hey, let me get the end of it and just call it what it is. Like, I already spent all this money for the ticket. Like, y'all gonna take it. Y'all got a picture. Like, but then it also kind of makes me wonder, like, how is she the only one with a picture of her food? And I don't think anybody else wants a picture of their food. So it just strikes my curiosity about how this experience continues to just keep coming and being ghetto. Like, it's just ghetto out here. Like, and it's just me talking about what's going on in my area of, like, just paying attention to how this stuff is getting bananas, right? And other celebrities. Let's talk about this is the third and last celebrity I'm gonna freaking talk about. And then the stuff with Nicki. Like, Nicki, baby girl, you funny. Like, you funny as hell. Like, I ain't even see you being that kind of funny. Like, I knew you was something else, but I ain't know you was funny. Like, you're hell of an entertainer, more than just your music says. Like, you something for that. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't got nothing to say with nothing else that you're doing. None of that. Like, cause like I said, I mentioned that with the whole. That was it. You funny. You hilarious. And let me get to, like, the nit and the gritty of what I believe is actually happening now. Like, I believe because for the last couple of months to a year and over a year, some change, we have been fighting for control over our situations and our circumstances that now we are so much in the binds of just giving up our control to everybody else, and even those who don't want control, we're trying to take it from them. That this whole situation is now just being about control and how much we could push upon other people and then take from others. That I honestly, in my mind, I'm afraid for the future. And not even for myself. I'm afraid for the future for my son, my grandkids, because if this is how we act now, and this is how we conduct ourselves in a situation where that was supposed to technically bring us together, supposed to make us more aware of, like, what's going on in our environment and our society and our cultures and what we're making okay, and this is how we conduct that, it ain't getting no better. I hate to say it. It's not. It's going to get so bad that I ain't gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna pray. We might as well, cause we might as well. And this is me just letting go of a little thing that's been on my chest that I've been watching as of recently. Cause trust me, there was a few things previously that I wanted to talk about, but I was just like so weirded out. But do I even want to talk about it? Because if we talk about it, then it makes it real. And we already know how real it can get. So it's like, do we want to make it that kind of real? Like, do we want to even get to the real issue of it? And I like to think about this quote that I came up with in my own mind. Just because I don't strive for control does not mean I want to give people control. If that makes sense. I just simply want to be. Is that okay with you? And this is another meta moment that's coming to a close. And of course, that's just me just throwing ideas out there and just making people realize like there are more options than we are allowing ourselves to believe, because the fear is all we are subjecting ourselves to, and that's all we can see. So live and be fearless. Thank you.
Get her, I'm hoping. Boy, I know I'm high, cool out, cause I'm smoking. So girl, what would you do for the outgrow? Boy, I wanna